to celebrate the winners of the BrandLaureate Awards. BrandLaureate Awards.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BrandLaureate podcast. My name is Xavier from the BrandLaureate PR and Communications team. Here today at the BrandLaureate International Gallery with my guest, Bee Peng, the CEO of the BrandLaureate and publisher of the BrandLaureate Business World Review. Say, Ms. Chu, what is it about the BrandLaureate that has influenced the landscape of brands and branding in the country or even in the globe?
Xavier, that's a good question to ask. Definitely, the BrandLaureate has played a very, very crucial role and a very important role in influencing the world of brands and branding as to how we have actually assisted the branding community to build their brands. Everyone needs to know that in running a business, or a brand itself, you actually need to up your branding efforts itself, because branding is the tie that binds the brand and the business. Without branding, all of the brands that are present here would not be able to grow. And if you were to take a look at some of the brands that have been in the marketplace, brands that have reached a lifespan of 100 over years, the top major brands and all that, they have been very consistent and they have pushed their branding efforts so to a point that the brand runs on its own. All right, we have to remember a brand is animate. It is not a dead entity itself. Even when we are sleeping, all right, the brand is doing its job of helping us to build our business itself. And branding is a 24/7 job, task that needs to continue. All right, there is no holiday at all where branding is concerned. All right, so that is where the BrandLaureate, through its efforts, have been able to educate the business community and enforce on them the importance of branding to actually help them to boost their business, the brand, and the revenue.
You talk about education and when it comes to what you can provide for the business community. So in terms of education, I'm curious about what type of support that the BrandLaureate gives towards these communities, the business communities, the younger entrepreneurs, the starting entrepreneurs. So could you care to share a little more on that?
Ever since we started, we established the BrandLaureate in 2005, which is a good 19 years down the road. And next year we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary, which we are all very excited about. All right, we have done very well. For everyone's information, when we established the BrandLaureate, we just only started off with a piece of blank paper and a pen. And on that piece of paper, we wrote down our vision, mission, and the initiatives that we want to do to meet our desired objective. Now, the desired objective of the BrandLaureate is to educate and disseminate the importance of branding to the community itself, because we feel that branding is for businesses and brands to grow, you really need to work on your branding. So through the numerous initiatives that we have done, we have been able to impact, all right, and create that awareness of why businesses need to embark on their branding initiatives. Some of the initiatives that we have include launching the BrandLaureate Awards. Why the awards, if you may ask? Because the awards is a form of recognition. All right. Now, every company, every business, every individual who has done well would want to be recognized. And when you recognize an entity, you recognize them for the efforts that they have done. All right. And when you recognize them, they must be the best in class itself. So the awards actually help to create that need for brand excellence. All right. The understanding that if you want to be number one, if you want to stand at the podium, all right, or if you want to achieve the F1 pole position, you must be the best in class. And to be the best in class, you have to really put in the efforts to reach that peak of that peak of excellence itself, all right? Because no one, everybody in let's be very honest. Everybody remembers the winner, but no one remembers the winner, the number one, but nobody remembers the number two and the number three. So that's why it's so important for brands that they are standing at the peak. All right, that they are in pole position itself. So the awards is one of the initiatives that we have introduced through the BrandLaureate. And ever since we started the awards in 2006 with the BrandLaureate Best Brand Awards, that was to recognize the multinationals, the public listed companies, and the large corporations. We have then progressed on to other awards like the BrandLaureate SME Awards to recognize those brands and businesses in the small, medium enterprises. Now, why small, medium enterprises? Because they are the root of all, they are the foundation, all right, of business growth itself. Now, every successful country, every developed country has a very strong pool of SMEs. All right, so similarly in Malaysia, we also have a strong pool of SMEs, and brands, they don't become global brands overnight. They don't become the best in their industry or categories overnight. They take a long time to grow to be where they are, and they all start as SMEs. If you were to take the example of major brands like Samsung and all that, they all started as SMEs. But through the years and the understanding of the leaders and the management that branding is important, all right, they have grown to where they are today. So similarly, those in Malaysia, you can see that we have many SMEs that have grown to become very strong brands that have also established their international footprints. Similarly, in the ASEAN region and the rest of the world itself. So, and apart from the SME awards, we have also moved on to the Halal Awards, for the halal industry. Why the halal industry? Because why the Halal Awards? Because the halal industry serves as is a very potential industry itself. All right, the world is moving towards halal, and it is and the opportunities are there, and it has been forecast that it is not only $1 billion industry, but it can reach to the mark of $1 trillion industry. So recognizing halal brands is also important itself, because every award that the BrandLaureate introduced has a purpose. Not only for the niche market, not only to encourage the businesses and the brands to do well, but also to help the industry. So by having the award for the halal industry, we are helping to boost and promote the industry as such. All right, and so we have moved on to many awards like the Property Awards, the HR Awards, and we made a breakthrough in 2017 when the BrandLaureate went international. All right, we hit the markets in the ASEAN region. We were in Ho Chi Minh in 2017, in Hanoi in 2018, Singapore in 2018, and when 2019 came, we went to Shenzhen, all right? And so it's a fantastic journey for the BrandLaureate where the awards is concerned. We have been able to move on, all right, with our vision and objective of helping businesses to grow and do their best through the awards itself. And we are also very proud to have noticed that some of the recipients have done so well that after receiving the BrandLaureate Awards, they have been able to grow their business. Revenue has been able to grow by multiple times, all right? And some of these businesses are SMEs, and they have been able to establish their footprint in the international market. So that is a great fit, not for them, but also an endorsement of what the driver of brands and branding is, all right? That means, our efforts have been seen, and fulfill and actualize itself. So we are not like, like what people say that, it's just an award, the BrandLaureate is just about awards, but we are more than that. We encourage, we promote, we assist. We have our advisory unit or advisory section in the BrandLaureate itself, where we help and assist all these brands who need advice and seek guidance on how to go about building their brands. So this is what we do. all right? And the other initiatives are like, when we first started the BrandLaureate at that time, all right, it was like I say in 2005, where social media was not so, happening, or even wasn't in the market at all. So we were given the opportunity to talk about branding in one of the media itself. So every Sunday we have a column where we spoke about branding, and that's how we got noticed. We created our awareness through that itself. Yeah, and so it was. So when the time came for us to launch the awards, it was easy because people know who we were already, because we had a presence in the media and people read about us. So we created that awareness itself. All right, and so from there onwards, we went on to do a lot of publication, talking about branding, educating, sharing information on what branding is about, highlighting successful brands, and also highlighting successful brand leaders. All right, a brand cannot grow if it doesn't have a very strong and dynamic brand leader. All right, the CEO is the brand leader itself. So we did that, and that's how we create the awareness, all right, of how important it is to build your brand, and how important a brand is to the business itself. And so that's step by step we have done that, apart from the forums, the seminars that we organized. And the most important breakthrough that we had was in 2023, when under our subsidiary, the BrandLaureate Education, all right, we launched the certification for brand manager. All right, that is a 10 module session, all right, where the students can come and learn more about what branding is all about, all right, especially design, and it is tied up with the University Malaya Center of Education. So students who come in for their 4 days course, all right, at the end of the day, they get a certificate from the World Brands Foundation and also University Malaya certification. What is it? Sorry,
Certification for brand manager.
No. UST Malaya.
Center for Continuing Education.
And they get the certificate from the BrandLaureate and the UST Malaya. I'm sure everyone knows that UST Malaya is one of the oldest university in the country. In fact, the first university. So it is an honor to have this affiliation with them. All right, and so in the certification for brand manager, which we call CBM, students who come in will be able to learn tremendously, and get a lot of information on what branding is all about. Because this course itself was developed because we noticed that many companies or organizations, they have brand managers, but these brand managers are not qualified. They don't have that particular degree or certificate on what branding is all about. Just like, if you are an engineer, you go to the university, you enroll in the faculty of engineering, and you graduate with a degree in engineering. But where branding is concerned, it is very loose. All right. A person in business ad or PR may come into the organization and helm the position of brand manager, but their understanding of branding is not deep enough. All right, and you cannot move the brand, and you cannot grow the brand or bring it to where you want it to be if you don't have a deep understanding. So that 10-course module, which we have developed, covers every aspect of branding itself. It gives you a good insight on what you need to do. It gives you a good insight on what the brand can do, the opportunities that a brand presents to you if you have a very good understanding of how to grow the brand itself. And that is what we have done. So that is a fantastic breakthrough for the World Brands Foundation and the BrandLaureate itself. So what we want is that every company to attend this 4-day certification, you would gain tremendously from it, and it will help to push your brand to the desired position that you want. And it's not only for the brand managers that we want to see them coming, but everyone in the organization from the C-suite downwards, because we also know that some of the C-suite,
There's a severe lack in education.
People, the C-suite, those in the C-suite don't have a really good understanding of what branding is about. You see, branding, for branding to be effective, all right, and for a brand to grow and be successful, the direction has to come from top down. All right, it has to come from the board itself. All right, first and foremost, the board must have a good understanding of what branding is all about, and then next is the senior management itself. The CEOs and all the head of departments must understand what branding is about. Branding cannot just be relegated to the brand managers, to the corporate communication, or to the brand manager's position itself. All right. So the top management must have an understanding, and once they have that good understanding, whatever they want, their vision, their mission can all escalate down. All right, it has a cascading effect in a sense that the directive comes on and then it goes down to all the levels in the organization itself, right down to the rank and file. All right, that is very important. The rank and file also needs to understand what the brand is all about. When you come into work, when you clock into work, what are you doing? All right, much as everyone has got their own portfolio, okay, but they must understand that their portfolio contributes to the success of the brand itself. So if you are in, let's say, in the packing department or in logistics, you have to understand that your job, all right, has a role to play in the success of the brand. Okay, if you are in logistics, you work on your delivery schedule itself, and you make sure that the things that are supposed to be delivered in 1 day reach just there in 1 day and all that. And when customers receive it, they get happy, they feel happy because you have meet and deliver on your brand promise. If something comes in, you promise them 1 day delivery and it comes in 2 or 3 days delivery, then they'll get upset. So branding is all about delivering on your promise, all right? And every staff, every individual in the organization has a role to play in building, in working towards the brand success itself. So this course is very important itself. So we highly encourage for everyone to come in.
I find it very appropriate that the BrandLaureate, given its 20 years in brands and branding, with University Malaya, both of them are the progenitors, the pioneers of their respective fields.
Yeah.
The BrandLaureate in branding
Yes.
and University Malaya in education.
That's right.
So it's a very good match.
Nice alliance, isn't it? Yeah, nice fit itself. Yeah.
Speaking of almost 20 years, 19 years to be exact, but almost 20 years, there's a lot of history that goes on behind that.
Yes.
Is there any moment in particular within those 20 years that you hold dearly or that you remember very fondly from all that time? Is there one particular time or moment?
Definitely, there are many, moments, where I do remember, all right, very fondly with. But I like to say that every day in branding, every day brings new, how should I say, you see new things happening, okay? That is what makes branding very exciting, okay? Because branding encompasses everything in, not only in the business community, but in the world itself. Everything that you do affects your brand itself. Okay, so that is what makes it interesting and exciting in branding itself. So maybe that is one of the reasons why I have stayed on for so long, because it's a very interesting subject matter, it's a very interesting job, and being the BrandLaureate itself, where we are at the we have the how should I say it? Where we are the driver and we are the promoter of brands and branding, we can see what is happening itself. Yeah. So some of the happy moments are like, okay, when after launching an award, all right, when you launched the BrandLaureate Best Brand Awards in 2006, you see the success of it. And then when you move on to a new award like the SME Awards, is the first in the industry, a pioneer in it. And when you see it, achieving what you want, then of course you feel very happy. You see, the thing about the BrandLaureate Awards is that every year when we launch it, it gets better. Yeah, the response is there. And seeing companies respond to it in a positive manner, you feel good because you know you have done good. All right, you have been able to impart that the information and share the knowledge to them that they need to build their brand. And when we first started, there were people who say that, oh, brands are for the luxury market itself. All right, brands are for, like, people in the luxury watches. All right,
The top 1%.
the top 1%. But they don't understand that brands cover every aspect of the business itself.
So there's personal brands, there's business brands.
Yes. So normally when we started that time, all right, we get remarks and comments that, oh yeah, your award should only cover for the luxury brands, all right, the luxury watches and all those fine dining places and all that, and the banks and the retail outlets and all that. But when we reach out to the other business industry, like in the manufacturing, in the construction and all that, we get comments that they are not brands. You see, there is that misconception, all right, or the wrong perception, okay? But we tell them that, hey, look, even if you are in manufacturing, you are a brand. Okay, because if you are in manufacturing, you have your business, people want to look up for you, all right, to ask you to manufacture their goods and all that. So how do you stand out, all right? How do people come to you? Okay, they check on you, they see what you can do, but you see, many of them don't realize that what they are doing, all right, they are actually building their brand itself. Okay, so even if how to select this manufacturer from that manufacturer, what is the point of differentiation? All right, when you go back and tell your boss, okay, let's get manufacturer A to do the manufacturing for us, then your boss will say, so why do we select manufacturer A from manufacturer B? Then you tell them, oh, because manufacturer A is a better brand, all right, they got their differentiation and all that. So these are the things that many people do not know. They think that brands are only confined to the retail, to the luxury sector and all that, but they don't know that it encompasses the whole business community itself.
The whole ecosystem.
The whole ecosystem, all right? Industry, the manufacturing sector, construction, and healthcare and everything. That all the businesses, all the companies there are actually brands. All right, so we help to change that perspective.
Yeah.
That's why when we launch the awards, all right, we get companies from all sectors coming in, all right, because we have been able to tell them, hey, look, my awards, the BrandLaureate Awards, is not only for the retail, for the luxury side, but for everyone that runs a business and has a brand. Yeah, and so that is why we are so successful, because we cover every aspect of the whole business landscape as it is. Yeah.
From what I can understand, from when you talk about businesses and brands and the brand promise, businesses are essentially promises of service, and that promise is the brand. So I find it very interesting, honestly.
Well, brands are actually promises of, you see, a brand, what is a brand? People will always ask, yeah? So we get answers like, the normal answer, if you ask a person what is a brand, then he or she may tell you, oh, it's the logo, it's the trademark, it's whatever it is. But that's not what a brand is. A brand is more to that, more to it, all right? A brand is a total sum of experiences that you give to a consumer. Okay, and what is that total sum of experiences from the product that you have, the quality, all right, the brand promises, okay, the engagement, and all these things that makes up the brand, the services and all that. So it's not just when you drive past a billboard, you see the logo of the brand and say, that's a brand. No, it's more than that. Yeah, so that's why what we have actually educated the businesses is that if you want to build a successful brand, you need to have a strong external and internal brand. The external is what you see on the billboard. That's your advertising programs. All right, those are your advertising initiatives. And the internal is the
The culture?
the culture, the values, all right, the people, all right, your SOPs and all that, the operational parts of it that makes up the operational processes that makes up the internal brand itself. Because at the end of the day, a successful brand rests very much on how strong your internal brand is. You may have the best of advertising, you may have the best of what you do on social media and all that, but if the internal brand is not able to support what you say in the market, then it's not going to be effective. You're not going to meet your objective itself. Right?
The brand is all encompassing.
Yeah, the brand is all encompassing. If you want to look at it, it's a holistic discipline itself in branding. Yeah, so you need to build your internal brand, and at the same time, you need to build your external brand. And both has got to come together to meet its desired goal.
Being with the BrandLaureate for so long, having experienced everything, what are some of the values or just beliefs that you've managed to get from the BrandLaureate? Why believe in the BrandLaureate? What's your belief when it comes to the BrandLaureate?
Why do I believe in the BrandLaureate? Because the BrandLaureate has a very strong and positive philosophy of wanting, to educate, to share, to generate, and to do good for the business community. In helping the business community to grow their brands, that is something very positive. There's a lot of positive vibes in the BrandLaureate itself. Yeah, every day, every morning when we go to work, we can feel it. All right, because everything that we do is to generate and to help. Okay, so that is why the BrandLaureate, through its awards and all the other things that we do, all the initiatives that we do, garner very good response because we are sincere in what we do. All right, helping the businesses, helping people to grow their brands, helping business leaders, entrepreneurs to realize their objectives of how to be successful and all that. True branding is what we do. All right, I'm sure you will always hear people will come and tell you that I grew my business, I became successful through this. Yeah, okay, understand. But the route to being successful, to becoming successful, is to build your brand, and to build your brand, you have to do the branding part of it. Yeah, all right. So branding, like I say, is the tie that binds everything. All your initiatives and all what you plan to do is the tie that binds and in building the successful brand itself.
So, Bee Peng, what is the secret to your success?
Showing a deep interest in what you are doing, all right, and a strong commitment to what you are doing is very important. Without that, it is going to be very difficult to move on or even to succeed itself. Imagine if you are in leadership and you don't have an interest in what you are doing, then how are you going to lead? All right, how are you going to tell the people this is what is happening and this is what you need to do? So having a deep interest in your area of specialization so that you can be able to stay ahead of the competition, to know what is happening, to know what is trending is very important itself. Yeah, if you want to lead, you must always lead with the mission, or lead with the conviction that you have to be better than the rest of it. Yeah, so my very important message to all the staff in the BrandLaureate is that every day is a day that you have to do better than the previous day. All right, the previous day you may have succeed very much, all right, but that is the past. So as you come to work every day or in whatever projects that you do, all right, the success of past projects is very good. All right, you learn from it and all that, but you have to move on, and that every new project that comes out has got to be better than the past. Never rest on your laurels, because if you rest on your laurels, then you're not going to succeed and you're not going to go far, right? Because you say, okay, I've done so good already, so then take a rest. You see, in this business world where things move so fast, the moment you take a rest, someone is going to, jump over you, overtake you, and jump ahead of you and all that. So we cannot afford to. Yeah.
So an occupation is a vocation. You have to believe in what you do.
And
Very
showing
well
an
said.
interest in it, yeah, so that it becomes a vocation itself. If you're not interested in what you do, then you won't have the passion for it, isn't it? All right, and you don't have the interest in what you're doing, then you wouldn't feel committed to what you're doing also. Yeah.
So going from the secret to your success, from that, what type of advice or what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs or people in the business community or just anyone who wants to be a leader such as yourself?
Well, I think, what is important is to believe in your vision, in what you want to do. Everyone has got to have a dream, has got to have a goal, all right, an objective in their life of what they want to do. We cannot just be walking around aimlessly. And that, I mean, if you were to walk around aimlessly, where is that going to take you? Right? So if you want to be successful, or even if you want to do something, you must have a goal. You must have an objective. But the best thing is to have a dream. Every successful thing, everything starts with a dream. Yeah, to build a brand, you must have a dream that one day, all right, I want my brand to be at the pinnacle of success. I want my brand to be the global leader. I want my brand to be able to shape minds and value add, and I want my brand to be able to give the community a better quality of life. So those are those are what you call the goals of a brand, the vision of a brand and all that. So I think it's very important that every one of us have a dream, have a vision to move on, to proceed, yeah, in life itself, especially for young people when they come out from work, when they come out to take on, or even when they take the initial step to be an entrepreneur. What is it that you want to do? You had a good life when you were working in the corporate sector, when you were under employment. Now you're taking the first step to be an entrepreneur. What is it that you want to achieve? Definitely, when you become an entrepreneur, you want to do more. You want to achieve more than when you were an employee. So what is it? Yeah. So every aspiring entrepreneur must have that dream. Yeah. And to dream, and dreams are, dreams can be made possible if you work at it. And one way of it is to build your brand and do the branding for it itself. Yeah, everything is a brand. All right, a business is a brand, an individual is a brand. So if you work at building your brand, you definitely will be able to grow. You definitely will be able to go where you want to. I would say a good quotient of IQ and EQ. IQ, intelligence quotient, EQ, emotional quotient. Why? Because you need, first of all, a good quotient of IQ to be able to grasp what the situation is like, to have a good understanding of the industry, of your business, so that you can stay ahead of the competition, so that you can be able to see and to guide and to drive where the business is going, right? Because if you're not well aware of what is happening, all right, then it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, competition is very intense. So a good dose of intelligent quotient, yeah, to be able to move the business, yeah, to drive the business itself, and EQ. Now, people will ask, what has EQ got to do with it? All right, EQ or emotional quotient. EQ is equally as important because that is what is needed to drive the team together, to bring the team together. Not only the team itself, but everyone that comes into contact with you as a leader itself. A leader must have a good dose, have a good quotient of emotional quotient or EQ, because with that you are able to see, to assess in a most rational perspective itself. So that is one of the factors that every leader need to have, a good quotient of IQ and EQ. The other one is being able to adapt and innovate according to the situation itself.
So, going from that, what is some advice that you'd like to impart to the younger generation, to the aspiring entrepreneurs, to the business community, and to people who are aspiring to become leaders such as yourself?
First of all, have a dream. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur, and before you start out, have a dream as to what you want to do. All right, don't just have this, thought of wanting to become an entrepreneur and dive into it without knowing what is it that you want. It's just because you see someone running a very successful business and you like it and say, I also want to be. But in the world of entrepreneurship, there are so many challenges. And are you ready for it? That is one thing. So most important of all is to have a dream as to what you want to do and work towards that dream itself. Yeah, as you work towards that dream, identify what your strengths and weaknesses are, where your strengths and weaknesses lie. So if you have that particular strength, so how do you work towards it? If you have that particular weaknesses, but you still want to drive on, you still want to push on to do what you want, so how do you overcome it? And of course, most important is have deliverables, have a time frame as to within 1 year, what do you want to achieve? Within the second year, what do you want to achieve? You need to be guided. You cannot just be saying that I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to run this business, so this is what I do. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So have a dream, work towards it, have a time frame as to how you want things to move, at what pace. And most of all, if you are running a business, you need to build a brand. Because the brand is the business is the brand. It's all intertwined. You can't run away from it. And to build a brand, you need to do your branding itself. So not only as for the business itself, not only for the brand, but also your own individual brand, your personal brand. Because as an entrepreneur, people will look at you. Yeah? People will also relate you, in how you look at you as how you conduct yourself, how you do your business and all that. And that is very important. As an entrepreneur, you must be able to secure the trust and confidence of your customers. You must be able to generate that trust and confidence, all right, and have that as part of your persona. It's not only about the leadership that you will be, that will come forth as you go about doing your business itself, but being able to generate that trust and confidence for people to believe in you. And branding will help you to do that itself, because branding is all about delivering on the brand promises itself. So if you can't deliver on your brand promise, your customers are not going to be in favor of you, and so that will be very difficult.
Very well said, Ms. Chu. From the BrandLaureate International Gallery, the BrandLaureate podcast with Ms. Chu Bee Peng, CEO of the BrandLaureate. Thank you, Ms. Chu.
Thank you, Xavier.
This podcast is brought to you by the BrandLaureate. Please give us a 5-star rating and stay tuned for more episodes on brand stories and insights.